My name is Justin McLaughlin, and I am one of the guitar teachers here at Guitar Associates.
A little bit about what you do.
Okay, I do a bunch of different things, but primarily I am a music instructor. I teach beginning guitar, advanced guitar, music theory, bass guitar, a little bit of mandolin, and a little bit of ukulele as well.
What got you into teaching music and performing music?
It'd have to be heavy metal music, and then seeing my first concert, which was Metallica, Queensryche 1989, and Justice for All tour. It was so loud, I just couldn't believe it, and it just blew my mind, and it's like, wow, people actually do this for a living to do. And I did tour Europe, and I've played in front of maybe 5,000-6,000 people, which is overwhelming, but it's not Metallica size, but it was still, I have achieved some of these things. I think it was just seeing that, and then, just seeing the live music at the age of 14, kind of just changed my life, and that's exactly what I wanted to do, and I never gave up, and here I am,
Oh, did you find teaching more interesting than playing in front of people? Do you like it more? Do you feel better about it?
I need to do both. I don't have a preference of which one I like more. There's some aspects about teaching that I like. I do enjoy teaching little kids. Teaching just in itself, besides performing, I'll get to performing in a second, but teaching, I love teaching little kids because their brains are sponges, and it's just really cool seeing them grow into musicians. And on the little bit of negative side, you are teaching basics and beginning, so it could be a little bit boring, but that is up to you. You can make it interesting for the student and for yourself, and you're learning new ways all the time. Everybody's different. Now, going on to performing, I have to perform. If I don't perform, then there's something wrong. There's something missing, and I really enjoy performing in front of people. It makes me feel alive, and I don't think about life or anything. I'm just in the moment and doing it. And I probably have played about over 4,000 gigs in my life so far. I started when I was about 18, 19. I started gigging, and then there was a point where I resigned from the band I was playing with, and we were doing like 5 gigs a week, on average. That was Nosotros. And so in 2007, I went back to school at UNM to get certified in music education to be a band director. And I actually never completed that because that's not what I wanted to do. But in that time, I had 4 months of no gigs, and it was awesome the first month. I just recharged my batteries because I was so burned out. And it's cool, but then the second, third month, and the fourth month, I just felt like something was missing in my life. And then, fortunately, I started to just gig with lots and lots of different musicians. There was I remember that was 2007, and that summer I think I had like 9 gigs in 1 week. And that was awesome. And so it came back, and it was really nice to do different genres, from bluegrass to blues rock to jazz to whatever, Latin groups, even Spanish trios. Music is music, and I enjoy performing. It really feeds the soul and keeps me young and everything. So that's
Fountain of youth.
Yeah. So I don't know which one. There's not one that I like. I like doing both, and I do have time to teach in the day and to gig at night, and that's been my life for the last 15 years. And with going to school here and there, I am doing an online class like you. and so, but it's all music, so I'm dabbling in music production now, so that's my next goal.
So in your experience, do you think you could say to somebody that they could make a living off of just gigging?
Absolutely, you can make a living just off of gigging. You probably have to gig quite a bit, probably 5 gigs a week. It can potentially make you anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a week, depending. Gigs vary pay, but you can do it. But I would recommend to practice a lot and be open-minded to the different genres that are out there. If you don't like bluegrass or country and you're a bass player, then you you may want to consider learning those styles. Living in New Mexico, you have lots of Spanish traditional music. There's a big salsa scene. There's just a big Latin scene. So learn reggae, learn rock, learn anything you can, especially if you're a bass player, because then you'll always work.
So, if you could tell your younger self anything, like something they should have changed or something about you now, what would you tell them?
Absolutely nothing, and I think that's interesting because I think what led me up to my life right now were the decisions that I made. And if I can put this brain into my 20-year-old brain right now, I probably would have do something. I mean, that's probably one thing I wish I had the knowledge that I did back then that I do now. But like I said, I can't think of one thing. Maybe being mean to somebody, but it has nothing to do with music. I mean, when you're a kid, you're kind of mean to certain other kids, and I would take that back, So there's things like that. But as far as like me telling me anything about this, everything's been a learning experience and has put me to where I am today. And so I don't think I would say anything, And I probably wouldn't listen back then anyway.
So, if you could tell your younger self anything, like something they should have changed or something about you now, what would you tell them?
Absolutely nothing, and I think that's interesting because I think what led me up to my life right now were the decisions that I made. And if I can put this brain into my 20-year-old brain right now, I probably would have do something. I mean, that's probably one thing I wish I had the knowledge that I did back then that I do now. But like I said, I can't think of one thing. Maybe being mean to somebody, but it has nothing to do with music. I mean, when you're a kid, you're kind of mean to certain other kids, and I would take that back, So there's things like that. But as far as like me telling me anything about this, everything's been a learning experience and has put me to where I am today. And so I don't think I would say anything, And I probably wouldn't listen back then anyway.
So where do you see yourself in, I don't know, a few years? Where would you like to see yourself? Not that, what would you like to work on? Projects or?
Yeah, well, so going back 20 years ago, I wanted to, perform and tour the world, and I did that. I toured 11 different countries in Europe, and it was really, really cool for the time. And this is just maybe a couple of years ago. I did that for 3 years, and I did 6 tours, and I never thought in a million years that I would be there. And that's what I wanted back then. And there were some weird things, you need contracts. The gig was shady, so I ended up quitting, and it would be nice to do that again sometime with a real nice contract or whatever, I don't want $1 million, but I want to be, compensated fairly. But in a few years, right now I'm doing exactly what I want to do again, which is I'm writing music. I would like to have one of the goals of mine in a few years. I'm already old. So say by the time I'm 45, which is like 4 years, I would like to have my own group, as I've never been a band leader. I've been a sideman my whole life playing bass, playing other people's music, which is fine. But I would like, and then right now I'm in a project right now that we have all creative input, and so I have my ideas, writing down. But I'd like to have my own songs and performed by people, and to actually put out an album. I don't know if it'd be under my name or a band name or something, but have different musicians come in on different tracks, because I know at least 50 or 60 musicians in this town that I gig with that would be good for certain songs.
Yeah.
Other ones won't be good. So I'd like to have my own album out one day.
I think my last question for you is going to be, what is your weirdest gigging moment? Like the weirdest thing that's happened to you while you've been on a gig or touring with a band?
Oh, there's PG stories.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, there's like in Europe, there was this drunk guy getting on stage and it touched my bass, and I pushed him off stage and knocked his ass down. But that's the thing. It's like don't get in my space.
Yeah.
Don't get near me. So that was kind of funny. I was in Germany, small bar. And my first European tour, and I think it was, maybe the fourth. We had like a 10 show little run in Europe, and it was in the Netherlands. We played in this bar that had an extra room with the thing, and so after the gig was all done, you know, me and Mikey, the drummer, were having a few beers, and this guy comes in like frustrated. He looked like Elmer Fudd, but he was frustrated because he lost his wallet, so he started, you know, kind of harassing the customers, and so somebody kind of just pushed him out of the way, and he got mad, and he left, and he came back, and so he came back with a gun. And it's like, I didn't even know you're allowed to have those in Europe, you know? So anyway, so the drummer tells me, hey, what the F? This guy has a gun. And I looked at him, and I said, let's get the F out of here. That's a good idea. So we just ran to the back, and they had like a backyard in this place, and we just kind of like till it calmed down. And I guess the news story said it was a flare gun, but it looked like a real gun to me. But that was kind of crazy, you know.